This is a journey into...
When the Sakuga is on point, Callum comes out to play. So with that in mind, it's AniFix time. How are you guys doing?
So how come he gets, like, this specified intro, and I'm just sidelined as that guy?
Yeah, hi, Glen.
Well, you are that guy.
Hi. Yeah, it seems like you've just done an opening for my channel. That doesn't seem like a podcast.
You're like introducing Callum as though this is Callum podcast. This is the CanipaEffect.
I'm sorry, I'm a
podcast.
Canipa enthusiast. God.
That's how you sound.
At one point I was his 100th patron. Just gonna put that out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
that was so interesting, Russ.
I give my friends money.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You gave me $1.
So...
I'm pretty sure he's not your friend then.
Is that true, Callum?
Yeah, you gave me $1. I think overall I pay it because
No, Callum, enough words. You've talked to him enough.
Chocolate?
Like, you've earned that $1. You don't have to talk to him anymore. Like, he'll probably give you $1 next month too after that many words. Don't worry about it.
No. Oh no, sorry. He Russ, did you quit my Patreon?
So anime.
Callum, if it makes you feel any better, I was never a supporter of your Patreon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, at least I don't lie about it.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's this guy who, tries to make out that he's
that's the announcement for the AniFix Patreon. 2 years ago, AniFix uploaded quite regularly. Then we moved to AniPod. Now we're back to AniFix because Russ decided he wanted to use his voice. Basically.
Yeah.
Russ's launch is...
That's pretty much the condensed version of what happened.
Well, of all of us now, Russ is the only one with an active YouTube channel.
Hey,
that is actually correct.
I uploaded 2 videos to almost a month ago.
Admittedly, Glen's videos are of better quality than mine.
Oh, Taku, of course.
Did you not see the Tomoko video?
I did actually see that, yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad you didn't message me and just, say, hey, it's been a while. I'm glad you're not dead. Or, just message me at all during this past year. But that's okay. You got bigger and better things. That's how it's okay. That's how you know you're friends, is you get right back into it. Like, as soon as you see them or talk to them the next time, like, you're just right back on it. It's like nothing's ever changed. That's how you know you're actually good friends with somebody. But this is an anime podcast, and winter just started only 8 weeks ago, so definitely not behind. Definitely not AniFix behind. Are you guys watching any anime? Or should we just actually cancel this podcast because I'm the only one here who still does?
I have been watching 2 anime.
That's amazing. Which one?
I know, I'm really proud of myself. I'm watching...
That's really good for you, actually.
I'm watching Slime and Sword Art Online.
Okay, those are neither... well...
Wait, yeah, Slime's ended.
No, it's too current.
No, Slime's got like one more episode. 1 or 2.
And also as an OAV. Why am I saying it the Japanese way? The OVA, that fucking the OVA that's coming out that got delayed like 4 weeks. But for one, I was talking about winter shows, and those are technically winter shows, but neither of them started in winter.
Is there anything worth watching?
Yeah, Callum, get with the times.
Actually.
There is
one. People tell me that
Mob Psycho
really
Kaguya-sama is one of my favorite manga, and it's gotten an adaptation that I could only describe as like eternal erection, because how did something every single time I like something, it just gets garbage. It never is like, oh, you just got the best staff in the world, but Kaguya was different.
I know it's Matt's favourite show this season,
and
that's
the
only Matt opinion you're gonna hear because he's not here.
Oh yeah, Matt technically wasn't part of original AniFix, so this reunion makes sense without him.
Yeah, he killed it basically.
And also he is probably asleep because it's 5 a.m. his time and my time. But I'm the only one who never sleeps, so I'm the only one who can be here to actually make this a 3-person podcast again.
Are you watching The Promised Neverland, Callum? Or, like, have you seen stuff from it? Or,
I mean, I've read...
Because I'm quite interested what you think of it from a production perspective.
I've seen stuff from it, and I watched the first couple episodes so far. It's good.
It's animated by Cloverworks, right? Which is basically Pictures now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you all about Cloverworks, because I went and stood outside their office for a bit.
You harassed the employees.
Exactly,
Great
I
job,
harassed the
Callum.
employees, I caused a nuisance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as white people do in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's
Do you
basically
actually
Well, what
have
I find
anything
really
interesting?
well, me? Yeah, to talk about Neverland, I do, yeah. So, what I find really interesting about Neverland, particularly the latest episode, is how it's gradually become more bombastic. Well, maybe not bombastic, but it's gradually become more severe in how it is presenting its horror and the techniques that it uses visually and with its audio to sort of create a sharp spike of terror, you know, kind of like a shiver down your back. Like in the most recent episode. Oh shit, Callum, do you care if I spoil it?
yeah, a bit.
Alright
Talk
then.
around it. And also, I don't
yeah.
mean to interrupt you, and I will, like, bounce off of what you just said in a moment, Russ, but I'd like to point out how you asked, hey, Callum, you watching Neverland? Oh, this is the Callum podcast. It seems like you're
Still
only
the
interested in
Callum
talking
podcast.
to one... It seems like
No,
you're
no,
really
no.
interested in talking to one specific person.
I just assume that you're up to date on every anime that's ever existed.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah?
that's
Yeah.
why I didn't bother asking.
I mean,
good, yeah.
I still haven't actually started Mob Psycho Season 2 because I was going to watch it. Like,
It's good.
all in
It's
one
really,
sitting.
really, really, really good. It's the first season was already good. This took it to the next step. It's fucking great. Season 2 is fucking amazing, actually.
Yeah, as soon as I heard people's reactions that the first episode of Season 2 was amazing, I was like, there's no way that I'm going to want to sit and wait for another episode, because everything I've been watching recently has been binging.
Well, it's like I kind of prefer binging, but at the same time, I like seeing what everyone's talking about. So
Yeah, see, I couldn't care less what anyone else is talking about. Anime fans are the worst.
oh no, I like to see what they're talking about, so I can like go into a private call with Matt and
Oh.
scoff at everyone else's taste.
Exactly.
That
what
is the true anime fan way. But fucking. I'll get to Mob Psycho in a sec, because you wanted to talk about Neverland so much, Russ, because it's probably the one show you're watching this season, right?
That and Domestic Girlfriend, yes.
Interesting choice.
Oh, and I suppose Kakegururi now as well.
I
but-
completely
no,
forgot that show was airing. I should probably...
I know,
That's
so
airing?
did I actually.
Yeah,
it took
second
Kevin
season.
to bring it up to me to actually remember that Kakegururi exists. Because, you know, it's being distributed via Netflix and, you know, there's no legal way to watch it, I think, at all. So, yeah. Actually, Callum, does Netflix do simulcasting in Japan for their anime?
Yeah.
I can't remember if they do or not.
Yes, they do.
They do. Okay, alright, then that doesn't matter. Back to Neverland, though.
Russell.
Yeah, there's
Russell.
one particular What?
You're talking about how it gradually ramped it up and stuff, right?
Yes.
I don't think that was really for the better. Because the earlier episodes,
Really?
the earlier reveal, it like, so, the uncanny, right? Like, Neverland, if people really want to put a genre on it, sure, you can put horror, but like, genre tags are so stupid in the first place.
Closer to a thriller. I'd
The
say.
uncanny, what it's going for is very much rooted in the ordinary. And the concept, the base of it all, the story, you know, it's not based in the ordinary, but the way the directing and the human and the animation is, like in the first reveal, like, Callum probably saw that cut, if I had to guess, Mr. Sakaga boy. Can't recall who did it.
In which episode?
Episode 3, right?
Okay.
Like, when it's the first reveal, because let's not spoil it, I guess, right? Even though it's completely obvious. It creates these images with lots of gaps built into them. And it's these incomplete or obscured images that allow for the productive negotiations of horror, let's say it like that. Because you were saying it's gotten a bit more, you know, bombastic. I think that's really,
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that was a good thing at all, because like the big reveal is hidden off by these obscured images, but clear images of the emotion that the kids are feeling when they see what's really happening, that animation, those cuts, as people, as humans, right? Like we're used to seeing, you know, like right now you're probably looking at your monitor, looking at me, and you're like, Glenn, I was trying to say something, and why are you still talking? Don't interrupt me, Russ. We're used to seeing, you know what I
My
mean?
eBay
We
page.
trust our sight. Right now, I'm looking at the waveforms happening on Destiny, and I trust that that is real. But these...
It probably is real if yours takes up the majority of the space on the screen.
Yeah.
Then it's probably
you see,
real.
I actually see interesting things, though, so I kind of prefer it this way. So they complicate this active scene, something that we trust. It's not new or revolutionary, but it's this quality of presence and absence that's inherent to the cinematic image and essential to something like horror. Like...
Okay, yeah, I agree. I actually do agree that the, well, I don't agree fully, but the first couple of episodes have a lot of merit for different reasons from the more recent episodes. For example, the first episode of Neverland, when I went back to basically make my video on Neverland, there is so much foreshadowing on what's going to happen. Like, I think everyone fucking knows what the twist in Neverland is, the basic twist. But I'll just say that there's this one shot where they're eating in their dining room, and it's like all shown, it's like all close-ups on their mouths, and it's like really grotesque almost. And the foreshadowing for what comes later in that episode there is really, you know, quite apparent when you go back and rewatch it. And it's not just that. There's also another example where Emma just runs towards the children and says, "I'm gonna eat you," but it's in a really playful way to kind of juxtapose what comes later on. So I do agree that the episodes that foundated the series are very good. But personally, I think the latest episode is just so clever in its use of cinematography that is the standout episode.
Is obvious foreshadowing good foreshadowing? Because everyone always says foreshadowing, and you immediately think, "Oh, that's good." And it's like, yeah, it's a very basic writing tool. It's something that's been utilized since fucking Agatha Christie was born. But is it good just because it happened? Like you said, it's obvious. Everyone knew the reveal. But was the point for that? Was that reveal? Like, think about it. What was the point?
I think there's a thing where, like, foreshadowing has more effects depending on the spacing between, like, what it's referencing. And because it was only, like, referencing content in that first episode, it's even in the same first chapter in the manga.
Yeah,
it's I didn't see it has I wouldn't really call it so much foreshadowing, but but content that gets introduced like further into the series, and I'm not totally sure where the anime is right now. Have they gotten are they at all over the wall? Because when I was reading the manga, they were not over a wall. And
only 12 episodes, too. They're not going to get very far. That might be the ending, actually.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to end
It's going to be like Prison Break, dude. Where the first...
It's just...
it's going to be like where the season ends with them getting over the wall, dude.
It's Prison Break, the anime. Oh my god. I see it now. It's so clear. But here's the thing, yeah, that foreshadowing is almost comical in nature when you look at the example of, like, Emma saying, "I'm gonna eat you." It's so funny that you almost laugh it off.
But it's comical because it's so fucking apparent. It's not comical. Comical was not its intent.
I didn't know the twist was going to happen at the end there. Me and Kevin, I watched it with Kevin. We didn't know that twist was going to happen.
I think two names just popped into my head, and both of them rhyme with idiot.
Mate.
Yeah. No. I actually like. I like that you managed to go into it like knowing literally.
Oh no, it's completely cool. But maybe my far superior IQ just gave it away.
Mate, you know I'm infinite IQ.
No, it's just when there's so many better instances, I feel like foreshadowing, like, I don't think that's what you should go on, because I think Neverland is good. I think it does things right. Look at I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Look at the foreshadowing in that. And if anyone's seen that film...
I've only seen the film. I've only seen the live-action film.
Both of those have the same instance of foreshadowing. The live-action films...
Pancreas made me cry.
Live-action film's better. Live-action film's better.
Pancreas is a very good show.
Which foreshadowing are you thinking about?
Man, I don't want to spoil it because I don't feel like people watch anime movies so slowly.
I haven't seen the anime.
The way the death happens in Pancreas.
That's foreshadow?
Yes! Oh my god, are you serious? It's so good! Dude, no, that's the thing, because you don't know. You don't know. But the thing is, if you actually, like, that's why it's so good.
If I went and rewatched it, then I'd suddenly have this moment at the start, and I'd be like,
you probably would. I realized at the end of the film, but it was so interspersed, and it was sometimes just in the background. Because on the news, it'd be like another something took place. It was
okay. No, I know
like
exactly what you're talking about
even
now.
a picture of a newspaper. It was so obscured that to consider that foreshadowing, you were just like, that's just background noise.
Yeah.
That's to
make
it's utilizing sound to make this realistic. This is just a normal house. This is a normal family, and they just have the TV on, that sort of thing. And there'd be an important conversation happening, and then a conversation in the background would be them talking about that specific crime, and you wouldn't be paying attention to that background conversation because of the conversation happening on screen between the
and it doesn't happen
MCs.
Frequently enough.
It happens like 3 to 4 times.
Yeah. So
that's so strange, because like I watched it on the plane coming back from Singapore when I went in 2017, and now that you mention it, it's giving me like a weird sense of deja vu for like those examples that you've given, which is really cool and strange, and it's kind of making my brain go all over the place, which I think is the intended effect, but I'm not sure.
Still
very
not
interesting.
Still not as good as Penguin Highway though.
Well, the thing.
Callum, we could talk about SLA at some point.
Maybe.
You two can get right to that. I have Callum.
Yeah.
Well, I have some more things I want to say.
You 2018 films. You thought Maquia was better than Penguin Highway?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Ooh,
I know.
Ouch.
I know.
The thing is, you remember on AniPod,
close.
probably the last episode of the AniPod we recorded. Maybe not. It was when Maquia first came out, and you and Matt had both seen it in Japan. Well, the Raws came out, and I legally watched it, of course.
Of course.
And that movie was not good. I get fully what Matt was saying. I think Matt
sent me a message gloating that you didn't like it.
Well, the thing is, I like Maquia. I like her. But the film itself is so... Okay, Callum, you will actually get this, unlike Russ, probably. You know David Cage games?
Yeah, I do.
David Cage likes to... And this isn't me... It sort of is, but this isn't me comparing David fucking Cage to Maria Okada, because I do like Okada. I've liked much of what she does. But Maquia, it's like... You have this idea, and then you have this other idea, and then you have this other idea. You want these 3 ideas to be together. You want this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. And you're gonna put it onto the same fucking movie or game because you want it to be. And that's what she did, and
but
it was...
No.
Yes.
Because those stories are so much better in contrast with each other. Comparing it to a David Cage game, where he just tries to throw any single... clever plot idea that he thought of into one game to the point that it becomes a mishmash of things, to the point where it feels like you're playing a separate movie every day. It's completely different to Maquia, where the contrast and the balance just works better. I'll admit that there's some parts of it where it gets a bit too involved in its fantasy setting, and it should perhaps draw back from some of the characters that it ends up focusing on. But I think there's a strength to like the story about the mother and the story about the son that was just phenomenal.
Phenomenal is definitely not the word I'd use, and I get what you're saying, but I'm very good at describing things I like, but when explaining why I don't like Maquia, because I get what you're saying, the emotion's there, but the emotion isn't earned.
Isn't it though?
No,
I don't like.
No.
Then it's weird to say that an emotion isn't earned though, like because
it's not earned.
Are they paying
off
people in theaters to make them cry?
Ooh, that was a good counter, actually.
Well, just because someone cried doesn't fucking matter. I've cried at Yowamushi Pedal.
You're right.
It's easy to make people cry, but to use it as a metric for something being good is not the case. So it wasn't a good comeback. I agree. But I get what you're saying. It's just okay. let me put my extensive vernacular to test to say why I don't like Maquia. Even, like... Okay, so... things at the end.
Yes.
Here's your daughter. Cool. Here's an entire 5-minute segment dedicated to this, where literally nothing matters, literally none of this was touched on before, and it has no emotion despite the directing, the musical score, and every sort of, like, push to try to make you to feel anything. And then...
which scene are you talking about?
Talk about Mr. Rapist boy, the blonde-haired boy who was such a... Well, maybe rapist isn't the word, but he's so irrelevant, but treated so relevant, and expected to have any sort of emotion towards this guy when he does anything besides this event is happening for no particular reason, like the scene where he brushes Maquia's hair because he kidnapped her, for no reason, for no extrapolated reason. There's no reasoning behind it. And I'm not even talking about in a plot hole sense.
There is a reason behind it.
There's of course there's a reason.
There's a whole lore thing about like value of is it the silk or the hair?
When I say reason, there's no value to the reason because they wanted to have that there. It's there, but it has no purpose. The purpose, if anything, is empty. So much of the film was empty. And the ending, I think the ending was good. And then there was the second ending, because you thought the movie was going to end, and then it had a different ending. And both of those endings would have been fine, but it extended it for some reason.
No, I think that bit was needed, because it spoke about legacy. And then there was the credit, the other ending, which I guess the illustration in the credits, which like kind of expanded on her family and what they're now doing, and the future of Dragonfriend.
I feel like that needed a bit more than a picture.
It was just like a nice snapshot of life.
I
mean, I totally get why you don't like it, and
I'd like
and it's
to
very
I'd
similar
like to explain my words better,
Matt's,
but I really haven't put that much thought into it beyond I don't like it. A lot of the events have no value, and it looks pretty. And I feel like that was a lot of the reason of why people liked it more than they should have.
I don't think that's
that's me being a dick. That's me being a that's me being a dick, which I fully admit. But Penguin Highway, I also watched. The Raw just came out. Dude, that movie was fucking fantastic. But if Liz and the Blue Bird hadn't come out in 2018, it would have been the best directed anime movie for sure. Directing was phenomenal, and
have you seen Mirai yet?
I have. I don't ever want to watch it again, not because it was bad, but because I found it important in what he wanted to say and what Hosoda wanted to say, but not in the way that relates to me in any quarter. Like, I don't feel like it related to me in any sort of capacity, but I respect it.
Yeah, it's one of those films that I feel like the best directed. I feel like I would happily say that's the best directed film of last year.
Mirai?
But I definitely wouldn't say, I wouldn't put it close to best film of the year.
Mirai is the best directed.
This is why I like.
I think it's at least one of. Yeah.
This is why I disagree with that.
I
disagree with that, but I really, this is why I like talking about directing, talking about cinematography, because people place value in things that I don't. I place value in things that they don't, and understanding why someone because I understand exactly why you think it's because I don't think Hosoda's bad in any capacity. I do think Mirai was a bit weak in that sort of department, especially when I compare it to Liz and the Blue Bird and Penguin Highway, but I get where you're coming from, and I can tell because of why you said that what you actually value. Like Matt and I value very similar things, because directing isn't. There's a lot of people I've talked to who are like, this is bad directing, this is good directing, and there is no such thing. You explain why this directing works, why it doesn't work. And some other person might say, this doesn't work. What?
Yeah.
But it does for me. I saw this.
I think that Mirai has more, as instead of it being like excelling as like a motion picture, it has sort of microcosms of like really interesting ideas and cinematography and that kind of stuff. Like the train scene, which I know Callum, he talks about it a lot. Yeah. That was so visually impressive. Like that. Seeing that in the cinema, with all of the crowd in SLA, witnessing that was probably one of my favourite moments of being in a cinema last year. So that was really fun to experience.
Yeah, I think the huge value of Mirai is that it shows you things that it showed me things that I hadn't seen in anime before, and I hadn't seen things attempted. I hadn't seen architecture used. Like in
that way,
in the way of like definitely moving a camera through it and presenting like a sort of like family hierarchy, but not really hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I love how they, because it is supposed to be Tokyo Station, right? That they presented.
Yeah, Tokyo Station's a lot nicer than that, but yeah.
I know, but how they presented it was like perfectly sort of encapsulating a youth's experience of being in a busy place.
Yeah.
While at the same time being almost mystical and, like enchanting at the same time, but also so scary and everything's out to get you and hurt you and that kind of stuff. And then, when Mirai comes in and swoops in and saves the day. It's just such a well orchestrated scene. I think that one in particular stands out. And there are a few more examples, like when, is it the grandpa that is on the cycle or on the motorcycle? That was pretty impressive. I really like that.
And it tries out similar things to Penguin Highway, but I think Penguin Highway's merits is that it's better written and that it's better. Obviously, it's like set in the real world, and it's about like, instead of Mirai, which creates these overly fantastical versions through a child's perspective, it's like trying to present a realistic world, but then showing it in a way that only a child would ever see it from. Like a lot of the,
it's very blissful.
The bit of the forest with a rusty car in it. Like, I'm 23 now. I would never go there. I would just go somewhere with people and interesting things. But yeah, those are the places that children explore, and it was really nice to see those explorations.
It's like childhood wonder. It captures that very well, I think. And that is Studio Colorado's first feature, right? I believe.
Yeah, technically.
So very impressive.
A long time ago, we talked about
Typhoon Norida, didn't we?
Yeah, Typhoon Norida. Yeah.
Ooh.
That
was actually pretty. That was pretty interesting. I remember that.
Yeah, it was the film with no story, but really cool animation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would actually like to bring up something regarding Penguin Highway, and it's not my opinion, but I just want to see what you guys' take on, because I completely blitzed it, and so did Matt. But Kevin's stance, Kevin Yar, for those that aren't aware, is that Penguin Highway is a shit film because the characters aren't realistic or relatable, and he points for his example. He points to the example that boy really, liking the adult would never happen in real life. And me and Matt literally just blitzed him, It was like, that's the most, probably the weakest, I think, criticism that you could give Penguin Highway, potentially, And I think characters is one of its more stronger points. Criticism
based on the idea of someone not acting rationally, not acting how you would act. It's just so, are you a fucking 8th grader? Like, I don't even want to say more than that, because, like, no. I talked to you, I expect way better at Kevin than something like that. And Kevin's the kind of guy who goes on about, like, plot holes. Me and Kevin are completely different. But Kevin, I know should not be saying that. Did Kevin watch it raw?
No, I believe he watched it in cinemas, so it would have been fully subbed.
Fucking
I don't know.
Kevin's dumb. My love.
There's genuine things you can complain about Penguin Highway for. There's like, there is a middle bit of the film where nothing happens. That it really slows down the pace, and it's not nearly as interesting as the start and the end. But I wouldn't ever fault the main character, because the main character
it's part of like his overall, persona. He's kind of like, what's a good example in
it's literally
like a literacy work that I could use?
It's literally one of the themes of the story.
It's like Sherlock Holmes or some shit. Like, he's like a genius, but he's got like a wacky, crazy side. I don't know if Sherlock Holmes is the right example to use.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like that.
Not really imagining the kid like smoking down cigarettes and taking cocaine. This troubled
Sherlock
detective.
Holmes took cocaine.
Yeah, somewhere.
Cocaine? Oh well.
It doesn't get adapted into like the movies, but
yeah, I imagine.
Sherlock Holmes.
You know what? Do you know what I mean though? It's like, like his double-barreled personality. The fact that he's really, infatuated with her, her breasts. It's kind of like, and I think that is the kind of thing that a child would be. Instead of liking the adult, which he does like the adult, but he's initially, attracted to one of her body features. That's something very childlike, in my opinion. It's
an entirely immature relationship, and
yeah, exactly.
But eventually, like, it's a spoiler, but at the end, he has to find a way to turn that into like a mature friendship where he needs to recognize that she's got a life away from him.
That middle bit being boring, I disagree with, but I get where you're coming from.
I think it's just
it's
a minor pacing thing. It's all I could actually fault the film on.
It's just it draws the viewer, like one of you was talking about the sort of realism. Like, it draws, like, it has this very keen eye for naturalism. Every scene, every cut of animation, even the more fantastical scenes, are such punctuated with this realism. Like, this is one of the best, like, subtly animated films of that year, 2018. I keep forgetting it's 2019. And it's such a shame, because, like, you were just, like, honestly, I wanted to say when you were like, oh, this is a spoiler, no one's gonna watch it. Even based on my glowing recommendation of the film, no one's probably gonna watch it, sadly. It's like...
oh, they might.
Maybe.
I think advertising on it has appeal. It's just, it's not like many of the other films of last year. It doesn't have a director with a track record. It doesn't have a studio with a track record. All it's got is, in terms of appeal, is the writer, who has this very niche following through Night to Short, Walk on Girl, and Tatami Galaxy, for those that
it's based on a novel by the Tatami Galaxy author and Night Short, Walk on Girl. But
it's entirely different, you found, those people aren't going to automatically enjoy it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But like, what you found boring, those short moments between the One-san and the boy, and even back on what Russ was saying about Mirai, in a way, despite the boy being completely logical, he probably destroys liberals with facts and logic. That's how logical he is.
Checkmate liberals.
Oh, God, he's definitely got a YouTube channel in the future. You kind of ruined the film for me now.
He is still a kid, and there in that, his research, every fantastical thing, every tiny thing, the One-san, her breast, all of these tiny, mundane things have these cinematic beats that have such a thunderous impact because of the realism of the cuts, of the directing. Like, honestly, this has the directing of fuck. If only Matt was here, if only our other AniFix boy was here, he could say a director's name.
Oh, a live-action director.
He does that in his sleep, I swear.
He probably heard me, and he said like 3 names while he was in this in his sleep. He's probably in REM sleep, and he's just fucking saying like Martin Scorsese or fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't fucking know. I watch anime. I don't know the names of Western directors. I'm sorry. Basically what I'm trying to say, each tiny location, each tiny thing, because of this realism, every motivation of the characters and these cuts felt monumental. And I really, cannot relate to the word boring when you use it on the middle part. But I am very much I'm very much keen on the dynamicism between the two and just, character conversations in general, no matter how mundane.
It's mostly when the interactions stop a bit and it becomes about hit. When the Onesan locks itself away, and it's meant to feel like the excitement's gone a bit.
Sorry, I was just puking out what you said. No, I took a drink and it went down the wrong hole. I'm sorry. I get what you mean. Man, I fully just fucking disagree.
I mean, I'm not even saying it makes the film bad.
Oh, I know. I just think that mostly every part of that film works in tandem with each other so well, and that part is a necessity.
I just feel like there could have been another event, but then at the same time that would have cut down on the point of that section and the point of the investigation. It was a complication. There's a stop in the investigation. We can't find anything else. We have to go back to our normal, usual lives.
Yeah.
Penguins are disappearing. That sort of whole thing. Yeah.
I get it. It's the investigation. It slips between penguin highways layers for you.
Yeah.
But for me, For me, it kind of unearths the unspoken and the inexpressible, and kind of leads to this confluence leads them to just such a spectacular finale that I love every bit of Penguin Highway, and like Liz and the Bluebird, it is a must-watch anime film from 2018.
I did order Liz and the Bluebird. So
that's also a very, very good film.
To...
Callum, didn't you fall asleep, or was that someone else?
That was someone else.
Was that?
I can have a guess.
Was that a certain someone who I know, who I very specifically know, and I can't remember whether or not if I can say.
It is exactly that person.
For fuck's sake.
I don't know.
How did you guess?
I didn't watch it because I can't stand UFO. So I can't stand. I cannot deal with a second of euphonium. I can't deal with I think I've gotten to this point where I can't give a shit about any anime that takes place in a high school anymore.
Callum,
that's the most stupid thing you've ever said.
I think
I know I'm fine. I'm done. I feel like
you're not an anime fan anymore.
I've cut off 75% of anime, but
oh, way more than that.
Hold on, wait. Callum, Mob Psycho takes place in a high school. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is not about the high school relationships.
Okay, so what you should have said is what you don't like is grounded slice of life anime that take place in a high school.
Chronicles of the Going Home place. Where does that take place?
I don't actually think I could watch Chronicles of the Going Home, although it's just straight comedy.
I
don't know you anymore. God, what did you just say, Callum? Speak up for the people in the back.
I said it was a straight comedy, so it's fine.
Where's Nononburi take place? In elementary school, middle school? Man.
Don't try and pretend that
Nononburi
Callum, I think you just have a specific set of taste, and I don't know if you should be on this podcast anymore. That's coming. That's coming from me.
You're off. Yeah, You're off, Callum. You're not on this anymore.
I mean, there's about 5 minutes left of the podcast. Can I stay for that?
I guess.
We'll let you off.
I'm just saying, Amagi Brilliant Park is the best Kyoani show.
That's because it's the only one you've watched, basically. You fuck.
No.
Yes.
Nichijou is great when they leave the school. I'm just saying, once the school's involved, it just everything's downhill from there.
You're starting to sound like you're like
high school.
Hey, I don't blame you there. I can't fault you there. I'm just saying you're starting to sound like a very old man.
Yeah, I know. I think it's coming early. I'm like a 23-year-old, like 40-year-old anime fan. I'm gonna be like collecting models from mech shows that nobody's ever heard of.
I have a question, guys. When you watch an anime that's set in a high school, because based on your responses, do you automatically reminisce about your high school life? Because I feel like Japanese high school is so different. So whenever people say they like reminisce on like their high school life when they watch anime, I think you were either educated in Japan or you had a very interesting life, in which case you should be happy.
These fucking cool kids weren't bullied in high school, that's why. Why do you think anime attracts losers? We get to imagine ourselves having a better high school life.
I just think all of the high school drama that happened at high school was so fucking tiny and so annoying and so insignificant and so irritating that I can't find any sort of connection, relation, or care at all about any drama that happens within someone's high school life.
But the thing is, so many of those high school, those small, extremely small, unimportant moments, like, they happen not just only in high school.
But they don't.
They do.
But high school...
They do. They totally do.
Sorry, you're right, they do. Like, there's those petty drama moments anywhere. But I think high school specifically, like, maybe it's because I'm not even in the same country as all my high school friends anymore. But, like, I feel like the drama there in high school became so insignificant. It's just... It's hard to think of it as...
I get what you're saying, but the problem is so many of these high school series aren't inherently about the high school drama. It's high school drama because they're in high school. It's people's drama. It's just a drama. Especially UFO. UFO is barely about... Like, the high school isn't the focal point. The focal point is that these are real people with real problems, and things like the only high school part of UFO is the bands, like the high school band.
Yeah, I was about to say they don't really focus on the high school at all.
It's like
the band.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but so few of these series focus like on the idea that they're in high school, and these moments would only happen because they're in high school. Like, I don't know. I watch a lot of anime, and I would say that is not the case. I'd say a lot of them do take place in high school, but when that's most people's best part of their lives in Japan before they either go die in the workforce or something, you know, I understand why. Yeah. But I get what you mean, but at the same time, UFO's great, you bitch. And listen to...
Glen, can I ask you a quick question? Just because I want to hear a certain word come from your mouth.
I will only allow you to ask me questions if you stop asking, can I ask you a question? If you just ask me the question.
It's a podcast.
If I just said, oh, Glen mate.
Yeah.
No, and then it just like
well, if you started it with Glen mate, of course. I love when people call me mate.
All right then, Glen mate. What is your opinion on Revue Starlight? And I want to ask, because there's a certain V word that I know you like to use a lot, that I want to hear you say again, because I just
want to point out that
all the time.
Russ just said mate like someone who's never said the word mate before.
Yeah.
Well, because I really haven't, to be fair.
I think this falls back...
I come from a posh part of the country.
No, this falls back onto the beginning of the podcast, where you only wanted to speak to Callum. You have such a difficult time calling me mate, or a synonym, friend. You really have a hard time there, Russ, and I think it's become apparent throughout these 40 or so minutes. But Revue Starlight was one of the best anime of 2018.
Seems to be a running theme of the
we haven't talked in a very long... Well, we haven't recorded in a very long time.
I agree, so it's very hard, and we end up talking about a specific show for a long period of time.
That's fine. That's discussion. If you only talk about a show for 3 minutes, if you only talk about a film for 3 minutes, is it really that good? Is it really worth the words? Like, does it not have the cost of the words to make it something worthwhile?
I guess it depends on the context. You know, if you're at Burger King and you're talking to, you know, the person that's selling you the burger, and you're like, "Hey, mate, what did you think about?"
I mean, he can't tell you to leave. That'd be bad customer service. You can talk to him all fucking day about it. What's he gonna do?
Okay, what if you're in the drive-thru?
What's he gonna do? Tell you to leave? He can't do that.
If you're having an in-depth discussion about, I don't know,
he doesn't want to be rude. He's a customer service employee. He doesn't want you to yell at him.
So you're telling me that there's going to be a 10-car line
more than
at
that.
McDonald's
I'm talking about Revue Starlight, baby.
Because the customer service advisor can't stop talking about Starlight.
Is this is the worst of all of the possible analogies you could come up with.
Why'd you have to ruin it? I wanted him to keep being dumb.
Service providers.
I wanted him to keep fucking going on. I wanted to see where he went with it because he was so dedicated to it.
I'm not sure like where this could possibly go.
I don't know where I was going, to be honest. I can't even remember what my point was.
I think you wanted me to say the word vignette.
Yes, that's
you
the
wanted
one.
me to say the word
but you
vignette.
didn't even say it.
Well, because I never even got to talk about the fucking show.
To be honest, I'd like to talk more about Penguin Highway, just so we can guarantee that that's the thumbnail.
Which one's gonna get us more? Oh, wait, no, I got an idea. Shield Hero. There, I said it. It's the thumbnail now.
Oh, shit.
Too bad, but yeah.
Best anime of 2019, Shield Hero thumbnail.
I like Shield Hero.
Done.
I liked it. I liked Shield Hero before it became an anime, and I wish it hadn't become an anime because now we got all these fucking incels. Me included. Because I'm obviously an incel.
I don't know. I've got like
Shield Hero deserves.
Shield Hero, like it annoys me because it seems like it wants me to care about the protagonist, whilst I care about everyone except.
No, I get what you mean. But like, let's not get into it right now because I feel like if we're actually gonna do another episode, we'll actually talk about the winter season perhaps instead of just like going on. I mean, but that's how AniFix and AniPod always are, is we have a conversation. We don't want to. Like, every other anime podcast I tried seemed so structured and fucking boring. So, and
maybe not boring, but nice. Structured is.
I find the structure boring. I like to hear people talk to each other. I don't like to hear people who decided, hey, we both have YouTube channels. Let's start a podcast, and
let's jerk each other off.
Yeah. And then they're not actually particularly friends. While you two are some of my best friends in the world. I love both of you very much. Even you, Russ, somewhat. You obviously don't feel that. You obviously don't feel that about me, but that's okay. But fucking. Revue Starlight, one of the best shows.
I only have so much love to give, and you know, there's two people here.
Furukawa, disciple of Ikahara, who Ikahara's show's coming out next season.
Yeah, so is Anime.
And it's good. It's the first time it's a male-oriented show, like fully male.
Yeah.
Because Penguin Drum was 50-50, so I guess it doesn't particularly matter that much. But when you look at Utena, or you look at Yuri Kuma. And I was disappointed by Yuri Kuma. But basically, Revue Starlight was this Ikahara disciple, Tomohiro Furukawa. His first name, I may have forgotten. I know his surname is Furukawa for sure. But I guessed on that first one, so forgive me, because I love you. And Revue Starlight, fucking... What would be the most, like, masturbatory way for me to explain this? All the images, his directing operates so contrapuntually. Is that how you say that word? I don't know. I can type it in Discord. It'll make it easier. The people won't understand what I'm saying, but you will.
Make that the title of the podcast so everyone knows what you're saying.
Well, thing is, this is a word. This is a word I know the meaning of. No, I spelled it wrong. No, I did.
Contrapulling?
I spelled it wrong.
Is that something to do with like conceptually? Is that what it means?
You know, Russ, just because it has con in the front, it doesn't.
Well, I was just taking a guess.
I've only ever read this word. I never said it before because I never get the chance to.
I mean, you misspelled it twice. That's all.
No, that's the right way. The second time, suck my dick.
No, it's got a U before the A.
No,
so it's contrapuntually.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
You know what? You know what?
Oh, or...
Glen, hurry up and talk about Revue Starlight so I can talk about my favourite part of it.
Oh, okay, no, it's not the... What the fuck is this word? Composed of 2 or more relatively independent melodies sounded together.
If I could finish the rest of the sentence.
You could have said a sentence instead of saying this word.
Yeah, you could have said it's good in the same amount of
Alright,
time.
man, it's good, Russ. Say whatever you want.
Alright, so I really...
I got it. It's been a while since I've done the podcast thing, man. Go ahead.
It's been even longer for me.
Go ahead. No wonder you suck at it.
Alright, so... Yeah, so Revue Starlight, the stuff they do with Tokyo Tower, and, you know, how it's presented in the day, how it's presented at night, how it's sprinkled as almost a symbol of, what the fuck? Karen? The two main girls.
Yeah.
How it's, like, sprinkled as a symbol of their relationship, throughout the anime is just really good, because I mean Tokyo Tower is a fucking cool place in real life. Actually, now that I think about it, have I ever even seen Tokyo Tower? I'm not sure, but regardless, it's a cool symbol, and then also
It's Tokyo Tower.
You know,
How do you not know if you've seen it or not?
No, I can't vividly remember seeing Tokyo Tower in my mind.
Okay. Just keep going.
Tokyo Tower
I'm serious.
isn't visible from that many places.
I know, but it's Tokyo Tower. How do you like wake up and you're like, have I seen it?
It's like the Eiffel Tower.
It's crazy.
Not as good.
I've been to Japan for what 4.5 weeks of my life, and I haven't seen Tokyo Tower, and I find that kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's not.
Sorry
that
to rub
great.
that in, Glen.
It's got a lot of One Piece stuff.
Yeah, they should replace the One Piece stuff and just replace it with Revue Starlight.
It's funny, like the only time that I'd ever recommend anyone to go visit Tokyo Tower is if they are specifically a fan of One Piece.
Yeah. And I guess there's the stereotypical saying where it's like, if you go to Tokyo Tower, you can't see Tokyo Tower. So it's like, you know, what's the point? Because it's such an iconic feature of the skyline, you know?
Yeah.
But I'd say I probably have seen it from Skytree, if it's visible from Skytree. That's the one time I think I could say that I've seen it.
I mean, on a cloudy day,
it would
maybe
have to
not,
be.
but yeah.
It would, yeah, on a clear day it would have to be visible. You can see for fucking miles.
Yeah, I saw it once from Google headquarters in Tokyo.
Wow.
That's just a tiny brag.
Just a tiny.
I was only
Just a little tiny,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah, just gotta get it in there.
Were you meeting with Susan trying to get all this copyright shit sorted? I'd appreciate that.
Susan?
Yeah, the head of YouTube.
How do you remember the name of the
I
person
was
who's
like-
the head of YouTube?
Because that's the
And it's
meme.
not a-
Do you not know the meme?
It's not a
I don't know
Japanese
the
name.
meme.
I don't know anything.
The meme is that Susan's... Well, actually, it's sort of 50-50 because Susan's both fucking people over and also helping people, depending on, like, what the YouTube policy is at the time.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
the most recent, you know, the most recent stuff with YouTube has been kind of shit.
Well, they're doing what's best for
I'm not making any
their
money.
company. They're doing what's best for them.
Yeah,
They're-
they've
they're-
Yeah,
they're-
but
they're-
we
they're
are
protecting
we're
us.
also technically their customers.
I suppose. Yeah,
I
but-
think we're
Or
the
at least their
product.
employees.
We're
Or at
the-
least their employees.
We're the we're the chickens in the barn. Like, nobody really cares if they mistreat us, as long as the product is good. As long as the videos are good, the chickens can get, like, starved.
Yeah.
That was a
But anyway,
weirdly
apparently you
passionate
guys don't find...
analogy.
Apparently the audience don't find this kind of stuff interesting. So,
I mean,
moving on back onto Revue.
Well, it's like what's
I just-
interesting is whatever we talk about. I don't give a fuck what they want, but like, I get what you're saying, but they're doing what's in the best interest of them as a company, and
Yeah,
and no
I
matter
agree
what,
there.
there is no alternative. So of course they're gonna treat us like shit.
Yeah. But back to Revue. Basically, another thing is with the performances. I love how you can sort of sense the characters, their current dilemmas through their performances. I think is really cool. Like that level of presentation, I think, is fucking amazing to put it in 2 words. And I just really love how they're presented and the flow of the show. Admittedly, I was a bit confused on a few things with Revue, but in reflection, it all adds up. Giraffe's a bit strange, but I think he adds a bit of character to the show. Is there any reason why it's a giraffe? Because I know it's based off a game or something, right? Revue Starlight.
Revue Starlight's an original anime that just happens to have a game now. Is
that how it works?
Yeah, because everything.
It was one of those let's do it all at once thing.
I mean, that's how it is now. No, not side games. No.
Okay.
It'd
be Bushy Road then.
Yeah, it's Bushy Road.
It's either Cygames or Bushy Road. It's like
it's the mixed media project.
Yeah. You love talking about those, don't you, Callum?
Yeah. You don't have to watch anime to talk about how they've
even
done
though
the
you don't know
stuff.
about the largest, even though you don't know or care about the largest one. But yeah.
But like every anime
talking
is
about...
like a mixed media project at this point.
Wait. Which one's the largest
Guess which one I'm talking about. Guess which one.
Which one he doesn't know about?
No, with the one he doesn't care for. At least I don't think he cares for.
I mean, Fate Geo is possibly... I'm not sure if I didn't
think about Fate, to be fair. No, I was thinking of Love Live, but
Fate
Love
Live, yeah. I think Fate's a little bit bigger, but Fate was kind of like...
Fate is
planning different things at different time, and it doesn't matter
Fate's
when
bigger,
they do it. People are going to love
the thing
that
is,
stuff anyway.
Love Live also makes a lot of money, like Fate, but, Love Live just had its Over the Rainbow film, which I actually did see the first 3 minutes of in Singapore, way before anyone else saw it. But, it's an interesting film because it basically opens up like a fucking, what do you call it? A musical. It opens up like a musical, which I guess Love Live loosely is a musical. When you like break it down to its core sort of elements.
Well, that's what I liked about the first film.
Yeah.
That it was like a New York, Broadway
it does
musical.
it does it really well in the first film because it's like it takes the location and adapts the songs to the location. I really like the one that Maki, Rin, and the other one that I always forget her name sing, and they're like all dancing around on the Hanayo, and they're all dancing around on the street. I thought that was really cool. They do similar stuff in Venice. And
there's
Italy,
people that get really mad if you forget Hanayo.
Really?
There's people,
hopefully they don't watch
that
the whole,
is their
whole
favorite
3
character.
people. Sorry, Hanya.
Although I do think I prefer Aqua.
Aqua's is better.
More.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I never got into Aqua.
Muse is a lot more nostalgic, but I
feel like after the film, I felt like I was done with Love Live.
That did conclude it. That did conclude the anime portion of it, at least.
Well, I mean, the Muse disbanded. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably
they still come.
Well.
Don't they still come now and then to like voice things in the app and stuff?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Yeah, but.
Yeah, but they don't speak to each other when they're
That's
there.
like saying, the corpse
to go
moves
to a
if
live.
he pushes it down a hill.
Yeah.
I'm
that's a pretty
the
good
biggest
one.
Idol fan probably on anime YouTube. Like, fucking... There is no one else I can think of besides people who are dedicated to making, like, videos about it, and there are not any of those that I can think of that have...
Maybe Shameful might be more of an Idol fan.
I don't even know who that is, but whatever. What I'm trying to say is...
He's
Muse
great.
is dead, sadly.
But I'd love to go to a live. Like, that would
Muse
be...
Muse
that's on my
doesn't do
list of
lives
things
anymore.
I want to do. I know, I mean for Aquas.
Yeah, you could have came to
I would love
come to AX this year. They'll probably have Aquars again. They're just too popular
see.
now, too.
So AX is still on the cards,
Yeah.
but it's probably if I'm gonna see Aquas, it will be not in Japan because I know
It's
that
very
their concerts are notoriously hard to get into.
It's a ticket system. It's much more difficult, but it's not impossible.
Have you ever been to a concert in Japan yet, Callum, since you moved?
I think that'd be a no.
I think I have. I just can't remember it.
Because I remember before you left, you were like, "Oh, Ross, mate, I'm gonna go see Man with a Mission live. It's gonna be wonderful."
Oh, I remember why. Yeah, I was gonna go see Man with a Mission, and then their dates kind of fucked me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I buy albums occasionally, like when they come out now, but I don't really go to.
I guess that's the.
Like
Yeah,
there was
I
a
guess that's like a big way of still listening to music in Japan is just buying albums.
There was a Sawano like concert a couple of days ago, but like instead I'm just gonna go and buy the album.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what I used to do is I used to ship them over. So now it's just I just go to Shibuya.
Yeah, Callum, how do you wake up in the morning and not just instantly cream yourself? Because of the fact that you live in Japan. Like, I'm just so curious how you can live in the best country in the world and not, spontaneously experience, I don't know, like some sort of climax every time you wake up.
You get used to it, like pretty quickly. Like, Matt left this country. Like,
I know, but that wasn't by his own. That wasn't by his own tuition and free will. I'm sure he would have stayed.
Matt wants to go back.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a grass is greener thing. Like right now, I've been here for just over a year now, and I constantly feel like I should go back to Australia for a bit. Because now all I can think about are the things that I'm missing from Australia. But I know for a fact that when I'm back in Australia, so I can buy Tim Tams here, but I can't
kangaroos.
Eating kangaroos,
can't get them there.
Absolutely delicious. Like, yeah, like double. I have to pay double for Tim Tams. There's some foods that I don't get, that I can't get here, that I could get back there.
But there's so much better. There's so many, like, where you are now. Like, come on, it has.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
It has better food, and it definitely has more options, I'd say.
Oh, I know, but like, there's a couple of things that I don't get here, and then I'm like, I need to go back to Australia. But I know after like just a couple of weeks in Australia, I'll be like, can't wait to get back to Japan.
Yep, 2 homes.
That's a lot of people that live in Japan. They go back to where they originally came from. They say, this place is actually not... Like, they keep reminiscing about it when they're in Japan. Then they come back to where they lived. And then they're like, I want to go back to Japan now.
You know what I was genuinely thinking? A couple of days ago, I was thinking, I miss the KFC that you get in Australia. Like, that's the limit of, like... the sort of things I miss about Australia, how minor they are. Like, the KFC is slightly crispier in Australia.
But, I mean, Japanese fried chicken is way superior overall.
And
so I would just
KFC's open on Christmas in Japan.
Ikaya and just,
if you wanted to... I mean, I've had a lot of fucking average karaage.
Oof.
But it's very nice if you get it done properly.
If you can get it done properly, yeah. But then I guess you could say the same for, like, America or whatever.
Well, that depends on what the American staple is you're referring to.
Pretty
hard.
I mean, like fried chicken in America, like
fried chicken.
That's a
because I was gonna reference. There. I remember the time that you bought. What was it? a $10 hot dog?
It was $5.
It was not $10. It was $5, and it remains to this day one of the best hot dogs I've ever had.
Yeah, because you fucking ate a $5 bill.
Shit. There is truth in the fact that if you spend more money on something, it tastes better.
And also, you bought this hot dog from some random guy who was not a licensed vendor, who was just making hot dogs in front of a convention center, and he barely spoke English. So, I'm just saying, like, how long has it been since AX 26? 3 years? Give it another 7 years, you're gonna develop salmonella poisoning, probably.
He might not have spoken, but he spoke through his food, and that was love. That was... Genuinely, you are now making me miss the US just for that hot dog.
I hope you left him a good review on Yelp, Callum.
I started a new page for him. There's some hot dog guy outside Anime Expo.
And that
it was quite good.
That is what
you should do a video where you try to reunite with him.
I don't think he's in America anymore. I think Trump may have gotten to him. I'm sad to say.
Oh no!
And that's what the AniFix podcast is all about. Love. So, signing off from Japan, the US, and the UK. It's been an hour. I'm gonna go to bed. Probably.
Good idea.
And like and
Apex.
I'm not playing Apex right now. Like and
Please,
no,
you haven't played in the past 3 days.
I played like I'm good.
Me.
No,
I'm the best at the game.
All right.
God damn it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, sign off. Continue to sign off.
Like and comment because Russ won't do this again unless it does well enough, supposedly. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.